Hello everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 of pot gardening, and today we are going to be mixing our fertilizer inside of our pots. Then we are going to be planting our February-March seeds that we plant on this, and also we're going to put this is some tape or string, what you would call it, and it keeps the birds away from trying to dig in your seeds. So stay tuned, and we got some eggshells to put in some of our pots. Start off by mixing really well all of the fertilizer inside of the soil. This is how healthy that looks. Alhamdulillah. Mix it all in, and we'll show you at the next step. Now we've mixed in all of our fertilizer really well in all the pots. And now we are going to, what I like doing is I like putting some eggshell. I'm just crushing it in my hand in all of my pots. And then simply mixing it. And I'm going to add it to all the pots. It worked really well. Alright, so now I put all the eggshells inside of all the pots, and we're going to mix them in really well. They're in all the pots. And with my garbage, this is biodegradable egg, the egg carton. I just toss it into my compost. Real simple. So now we have mixed all of our soil together with the eggshells and the fertilizer. And now I'm going to start off by planting some red Russian kale that does excellent in this February-March season. So as you can see on the back, it will tell you the zones and areas when to plant. Okay, March, April, June. I like preferably planting it a little bit earlier than actually what shows on the package. So, and it shows you how far to plant it down, plant spacing, days to germination, and plant height. Alright, so now with the plant spacing, since it's in pots, I'm gonna plant about 3 Russian kale, 2 seeds in each hole, in most of the majority of pots until we finish this whole pack. Stay tuned. Alright, here's our seeds. Going to be opening. Sorry, I had to change my gloves because those are kind of thick to be filming these small seeds. And this is how your seeds look. I don't know if you can see them. They're very small. There's the seeds. And now we're going to be using our finger, and about to right here, we're going to be planting our seeds. 1, 2. This is a fairly big pot, so 3, 4, 5. And here's the holes. We're going to be putting 2 to 3 seeds in each. Alright, we have successfully planted the kale in at least several of the pots, where the holes are. And we're going to simply bury them lightly. Don't push down, because the seeds are very sensitive and not like trees that they have roots. Push lightly, bury them, and that's your finished pot of kale. This is the second pot. Lightly cover your seeds back. Simple. That is your other pot. Lightly cover your seeds. And along with the other pot, lightly cover. Inshallah, they will grow. Talk to your plants. Inshallah, we'll see you all soon. The kale is now planted in several of the pots, large pots. And now we are going to do some arugula. and it tells you spacing, but we don't worry about that because it's in a pot. And we'll be planting 3 seeds in each hole as well. And once they start sprouting, what we do is we generally pick them apart. If it's too much, we pick them apart and just transplant them into the bigger garden where all the compost is. So let's get this planting arugula. Now I just spread the arugula in several pots as well, and just simply patted it down a little bit harder than the kale because the seeds are a little bit lighter and you don't want them to fly away. That's our arugula and kale. Now we're going to start planting our celery. Alright, so now in some more pots we are going to be planting a celery. This is a really good crop to plant around this time. This is the depth, but since we're doing it in pots, we don't do it as deep. And the plant spacing, days of germination, and height. So you want to do these fairly early. They're more of a warm, cold / hot crop because in the summertime, late summertime, they start to flower and seed. So we're going to be putting them in some of our pots. This is our holes for our celery. I just generally put them straight in the middle of the pot because they do get quite big, the stalk. So you want to put little holes in the middle of your pots. This is a long pot. I put 3 holes and 1 hole in the smaller pots. And celery seeds are incredibly small, so it's tedious work, but worth it. We have our celery planted in several more of the pots. Please stay tuned for updates. In this very large pot right here, we are going to put more Russian kale. This is peppermint right here, so inshallah it will be coming back. As you can see the little green in it, it will be coming back more in the spring. In this pot here, we've been rooting this celery in the greenhouse for about 4 days, and as you can see the new growth already. So we're going to be putting it in this pot that's fertilized, has rocks in it to keep moisture, retain moisture. And we're just going to set it right here and put dirt, a mound around it. And see how it grows. So now we are done planting our kale, and we labeled every single one of them so you remember which it was in, what vegetable is in each pot. So then we have our kale, arugula, celery, and I also put in some collard greens, and this is our grapevine that we did from a grape seed about 3 years ago. So it dies off in the winter, looks like that, but it gets leaves and flowers during the spring. And our kale, our mint, and our celery. Now what I'm going to do lastly for our potted garden, and it seems like we're going to be getting some rain, the rain clouds, so I might wait an hour or 2 and see if it rains, and apply our bird tape. Alright, so now this is how the tape looks, and I'm going to be putting it on, tying it onto here to the fence, and just making a rectangle or a square a couple of times around the thing to deter birds from eating the seeds. So now this is how the bird tape looks. So it kind of shines and sparkles and makes the bird thinks that it's danger, and it won't come near your pots because they think it's danger or something around, because it shines and sparkles in the sun. So this is another good idea and very inexpensive way of keeping, instead of making a big fence that can be really pricey, of deterring birds. You see how it's shining? That scares the birds. Now here is our bird deterrent. So if you were doing your pots outside, not in the greenhouse, these help. This is an excellent method, cheap method of keeping the birds away until your seedlings get big enough for them not to pick at them. And they don't like movement, so this is it. Stay tuned for updates, please, and subscribe and share.